Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Backpacktrader Trading Room for Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. And crude has just triggered into a short at 63.62. Money management 63.44 and target at 63.42. That is actually our second trade this morning on crude. We had a get in sync set up about 20 minutes before our start time. Unfortunately, just at our start time, spiked up through and triggered us in. I actually had set my order at 63.78 because it spiked to the entry at 77 on the next bar. And it triggered me in and almost immediately stopped us out for a 15 tick loss. Two positions, that would be 30 ticks. So we are short on crude at the moment. Unleaded gas. Now that has been unfortunate. If you get in sync with unleaded, then you picked up this short from almost exactly the same time the setup as the crude long setup. We had a short setup on unleaded, but that got in sync at a minute or so after our start time. Then that stopped and reversed to long at 56. And unfortunately, that stopped out. So a stop and reverse and a full stop there on unleaded. The stop and reverse, unfortunately, didn't help us much on that one. The adjustment didn't keep us in the trade, and then price action went back down. So Pound Aussie is in a long trade. My chart, that's at 69.71 or 79.71. Trade today had it at 79.72. Money management at, oh, that's interesting. So a smaller trade on trade today. Uh-oh. Okay, didn't lose everybody. One moment, let me. Let me get the screen share back up and we'll be back in business. Didn't lose the stream, and I figured out how to fix that intro restarting. It happens when I lose connection on the online live stream momentarily. So anyway, as I was saying, we are in the, my chart has money management at 79.90 and trade a day at 79.95. So I have a little bit smaller trade this morning. But there again, that's what happens with different data feeds. Our crude money management level is again at 63.44. We have a get in sync for market open on soybeans at 73.75. And the YM is flat, and the Russell is in a pre-market long. The Russell can be a bit manic pre-market, so we don't get in sync with that. And we've got about 3 to 4 minutes before market open. So short on crude, flat on unleaded, long on the pound Aussie at the moment. Theo, I use kinetic data feed for my futures and equities, and I personally use an Awanda data feed on NinjaTrader for Forex, but unless you already have an active Awanda account connected to Forex, that's not possible. So you would just use whoever your broker is, if you have a NinjaTrader brokerage, or if you're not using a NinjaTrader specific broker, then you can use data feed from Kinetic as well on NinjaTrader. And so everything's pretty well sideways right now. Market is just about to open. We'll wait for a new setup on the Russell. The YM is flat, so we'll take the first setup there. We have a potential long trade, get in sync on the pound, I'm sorry, on soybeans. Another 30 seconds. And unleaded, picking up a short if you're trading the diamond level SMA trade at 483. And that is trade number 3 this morning on unleaded. markets are open. And that moved through the opening way too fast on soybeans to trade, but that now has just come back through. And there is a target one, so that's going to be a one and done session on soybeans this morning that quickly. Stop now at 1474. Reaching for target 2 at 1477. And our crude stop getting close. I'm sorry, our crude money management getting close. Getting as low as 63.46. 2 ticks to go for money management. And we did reach money management on the unleaded trade. So our stop comes to 482. And there is targets 2 and 3 on soybeans. Stop at 74.25, but that will be moving up. 74.75 now. The Russell gave us a short at 20.3. Yeah, 20.3. I would push that to 20.2, but that would have triggered in anyway. So we are short on the Russell. I'd have moved it a tick or two below the 20 SMA. That trade setting up before the crossover, so it is not filtered out. And unleaded stopped out at 482, 1 tick break even. Soybeans stop at 1476 even now. Crude holding just below the session open from yesterday evening. And soybeans stopped to 77.75. And Russell kind of sideways right now. And crude coming back up toward our entry. And the Russell testing the 50 EMA. It looks like that's being rejected. Looking for shorts right at the moment on the YM. Our last OSOB reading is, our last positive OSOB reading is an overbought condition. So looking for pink shorts or something off of the EMA or off of the moving averages. Pound Aussie taking some heat. And a stop and reverse on the Russell. That entry was at 22.7, so that would go to 23.1 with stop and reverse plus key level. So long on the Russell now. And we have a short on the YM from 832. Money management at 803, targets at 800 and 783. Soybeans stopping out on its trailer at 1480.5. So a nice session on soybeans this morning. 3 targets and a nice big trailer. $73.75 to $80.50 is 6 3/4 points. So that's 387. I know, 337.50 on the trailer, and we had 7, 13, and 18, so 38 ticks. So 9.5 points on our targets. So that's another 475. So an $800+ day, 1250 on the day. For a 4-contract trade on soybeans. And the Russell had a potential stop and reverse short, but survived and now has hit has hit money management. And our stop comes to 23.2. And we actually did get stopped out for a 1-tick break even before it charged on through targets 1, 2, and almost 3 there. And the YM short taking a full stop out. Unleaded has a new long trade. Entry is at 503, and we spiked to exactly the entry. So push it to 506. Make it come through the 20 with some energy. And stopping out on the pound Aussie long. Crude is still in this second short trade of the morning. We have a potential stop and reverse at 68. And the Russell picking up a short, going quickly to target all and hitting target 2 on the nose. So that should be POQ for today. That'll be POQ, giving us the, or did we get the? No, we did have a stop and reverse on the short. Yeah, that short was in our start. So we got a stop and reverse there, break even. And so now our third trade is the target 2. 51 ticks. Won't take much of a trailer to get us positive there. From 20.2 to 23.1. 29 ticks. So 58 tick loss on the stop and reverse. We picked up 2 on the long trade. So down 56. So we're down 5. Our entry there was 23.4. We're currently at 23.1. We need to get to 22.8 actually to get positive on the day. And we are, because we're at 21.1. So that will get us positive on the day. And that did just stop out. So that is POQ on the Russell. And we got target 1, money management, and target 1 on crude. 20 tick target, and stop is at 56. So we've got 6 ticks on the trailer. So we've gained 26, and our loss on this, and we were down 30, so we're still down 4. So if we stop out here and along on the YM, 871. And stopping out at 56. So we're down 4 on crude. And actually, we are done for the session because that's our third trade. No, that's just our second trade, so we can take one more. Soybeans one and done. And the Russell with another successful trade. Back and forth movement, but enough movement to get profitable trades on that 1.5 point momentum bar. With the adjustment on the entry on the long, on unleaded, we did avoid a full stop there. And the YM with a second full stop out. So not a tough morning on the YM. So waiting on trades on the Pound Aussie, Unleaded, and the YM. All three are currently actually Unleaded just got a short from 439 setting a new session low. At 438. Money management at 389. Target 1 is 383 if you're using that. Target 2 is 353, which is the trade plan that we follow here in the room. Target 2. Please do jump in with questions if you have any. And don't forget Troy is doing his fast test session at noon Eastern today. That will be here on Facebook Live and on Discord. And if you'd like to join the Trade Hacking Club on Discord, the link for that is in the description for this video. Please do hit the like button. It does help boost the channel a little bit. And there is a new long on crude. I'm sorry, a new short. 63.42, which is right where our target 1 was before. And definitely in that trade. All right, crude looking like it's going to try to move down. And there's money management on crude. And target 1, I believe. Yep, it touched it. So crude getting to a POQ session after all. Took all 3 trades on the 9 o'clock session, and we're almost to the 10 o'clock session. And stopping out for a tick on the trailer, but a 15 tick target, and one on the trailer is 16, putting us 12 ticks positive on the session. So about 5 minutes to the 10 a.m. crude session. And that's an avoidable short on the YM. That is the diamond level trade off of the 200 EMA. That's the magenta trade. That is 834. And it came down to exactly that. Yeah, that's one of those, adjust it to 833 and avoid it. So we have a long trade at 861 that has triggered in. Let's see if we can't start ticking off some winners on the YM this morning. And we have a potential stop and reverse coming on unleaded as well. Hasn't plotted yet. $24.7 or $4.52 would be the entry there. I'm sorry, $4.72 would be the entry. And there it is. That's one of those times when anticipating it a bit with an order would have been helpful. And it looks like it's coming back down to to 472 after all. And actually that would be 76 because that is a stop and reverse. But it has triggered in. And looking for money management at 523. Target 1 at 529. Target 2 at 560. And the stop down at 404. And the YM long taking heat. One minute to go, and we'll have a get in sync long on crude. About 45 seconds. A stop and reverse now at the natural stop at 832. Yeah, what the plotted entry is one tick above that, so just a one tick stop and reverse adjust on this. Since we would stop out of the trade anyway at 832. And we are in the 10 o'clock session, and you probably should be in the long. If you didn't, you should have an order in at 63.51. Money management at 67. Targets at 69 and 79. This is a new mini session on crude, rather. 10 o'clock mini session. It looks like we're stuck between the 50 EMA and 6350 level at the moment. The stop and reverse on the YM has canceled, but it looks like the 200 EMA is still providing resistance. And looks like this, we've got support at about 832. And we're definitely, we're triggered into the long on crude now. So long on crude. Long on unleaded. And we did get a stop and reverse finally at 832 on the YM. So we are short. That's another 200 EMA trade. That is a diamond level trade. But it's a full stop out for your gold level traders, and you're flat. And a stop and reverse to short on unleaded. 419, and we have triggered in there, so short on unleaded. All right, I will have the screen back up in a moment. There we go. Should be back now. As I mentioned as I was going away there, we are short on unleaded and still long on crude. Back up to the entry again. We do have a potential stop and reverse there at 63.29. Actually, that would be 63.27. Wait a minute. No, it would be 29. money management and a one tick money management and target one on the YM short, and now we have a long. So we did pick up 30 ticks on the target and a tick on the trailer. We have the long at 841 with the EMA at 842. So I would take that to 843. I hesitate to take it to 846. That's a pretty big adjustment. And we hit 846 anyway. So pushing it to 843. And we're long there. Longs have not been successful so far, unfortunately. But that's where we are. And the YM with another full stop out on the long. Not a kind session on the YM this morning. And crude trying to push up through its 50 EMA. If it can work up through here, then we got to get through the 200 to get to money management. And another long on the YM. How many trades is this morning? One short, two, that was avoided, three. Okay, this is just the fourth trade, fifth trade. Okay, yeah, the long would be trade number 6. That's at 831. I would definitely push that to 8. 5 ticks is a big adjustment, but with that spike ahead of it and the 50 EMA, I'd definitely go to 836. The stop and reverse has canceled on crude. So our stop goes back to 320, 63.24. And I think we'll be a little to 57. So exhaustions would be at 59. Well, we actually are just barely close enough to get a new yellow trade on the short side. So potential for a trade at another stop and reverse at 32. So the stop and reverse at 32 basically stays in place. Or actually, the stop and reverse would move up to 32 in this case. Assuming we get the down close. If you're confident in your stop and reverse executions, you can put the order in. And if we don't get the entry, and you can always cancel the stop and reverse you put in, move your stop back, because the reason we wouldn't get it right now is just an up close. And that wouldn't necessarily take it off this is just the bar 3. And didn't plot, so that's probably a fractional reading in the EMA, so it would be just over the 4 tick proximity. But I have the exhaustion dots at 59 and the EMA at 54. So that would be the 4 tick proximity. But it probably means that the EMA is fractionally lower than 54 at that point. And the rounding for posting purposes is what's keeping us within the 4. So I actually did have my order in anticipating a stop and reverse at 63.32, and I had to cancel it, but I'm back where I was. So it's quite possible to do, but you've got to be watching it, because I knew it was going to be close and there could be a fractional error. And we spiked through to what would have been the plotted entry at 34, but didn't get down to 32. So I just got to cancel the reversal entry and moved my stop back where it originally was at 24. And the YM just being nasty. The long never triggers. Then we get a short that triggers in and goes for a full stop. And now we have a long. So that is trades 4 and 5 for today on the YM. Entry at 8:36. And a new long trade, and we are okay, this is going to get interesting. We are in our stand down at 10.20 for the pound Aussie, so that is a no trade. Just messy price action this morning. And there's Kevin posting the pause. Until 11 o'clock on trade today. Unleaded still short, and crude still long. So if you're trading unleaded, you're rooting against the crude trade and vice versa. getting within 11 ticks of our money management on unleaded, but not far enough. Actually, that was the prior swing. That one looks like it's not gotten quite as low. Yep, at 13 ticks away on this downward swing at best. Oh, I need to look at comments. Got those covered up. Good morning, Mary Jean. Welcome. I will go ahead and track this trade just for the interest. Okay, we did get down within 8 ticks of our unleaded money management. And crude did bounce back up a bit. And there's a new stop and reverse that's going to be at 20 because the entry is 29. That's going to be at 27. Which is exactly the session low. I'd push that. Can't push that down much, but I'd push it down to 26. Get one tick around below the low anyway. We did hit money management on the unleaded trade, so our stop now comes down to 411. And crude trying to bounce up again. Closed on the balance line, so that's not one count yet for a cancellation. Tough session this morning. Uh-oh. No, charts are still moving. But it looks like I may be... No, I'm still on. Still volume on. Okay. And unleaded stopping out at 411 for a small partial. Crude testing the 50 EMA again. Will it be able to push through this time? We have one close above the balance line toward the cancel on the stop and reverse on crude, and we finally get the full stop out on trade number 5 on the YM. Just a nasty session this morning. The YM just, even when it went short, we only had one trade that made money management. We had full losses on shorts and longs, so just not getting any follow through at all in the YM this morning. And we have a potential long on unleaded at 431. I have to go back and count and see how many trades we've had on unleaded this morning. I suspect we may be at our 6. If you don't count get in sync short, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. The short we just finished was trade 6. So that ends the session on unleaded. And we've been in this long trade on crude for the whole half hour of this session. One more trade in the trade plan for the YM. I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of it, but and there is yet another stop and reverse on crude. This one again at 27, so bring it down to 26. This time it will stay, the unadjusted has triggered in at 29, so it will stay in place until it either hits the stop or triggers in, or hits a subsequent long, enters a subsequent long trade, would also cancel it. And it hit 27. Will it push through that session low and hit 26? And there it goes. So we are short on unleaded, or I'm sorry, short on crude. Okay, and there's a move down on crude. That was a 50-tick loss on the long for 2 positions, and we did just hit money management. So our stop would come down 226. You can't put it down to 25, or if you would still key level back to 26. And the trade that we skipped for the stand down is what it is successful, hitting target 1 on the pound Aussie. And unleaded going down hard, but no trade. Target 2 on crude. And that's a POQ session. Actually, no, it's not. We're down 50. We've got 12 and 21, 33. We're still down 17. So I will go ahead and take the 3rd trade. And for diamond level traders, there's trade number 6 on the YM. 758, and we just hit money management at 735. So 757 for the stop. Hit money management on the nose. And bouncing off of 735 again. Target at 732. Zebra stripes there, and let's see if we get down there again. And there's our 732 target hit on the nose. So that's 26. So we've gotten 56 out of targets. But we've had too many full stops this morning and not even close to being break even yet. But this will be our last trade. And the pound Aussie with a strong up move now going through the target 3. All in the timing. Stop at 751 on the YM. Well, for all the sideways movement this morning on crude, now we get a home run trade. And if you were trading a trailing position, this would be a POQ trade. Yeah, US crude. The Russell's way down, as is the YM. The YM's pushing further and further into session lows, as well as is the Russell. And the pound Aussie going through target 4. Rules are based on statistical probabilities, and there will always be outliers. That's why we see winning trades in stand down periods, and we've had a string of losers recently in our daily, in the trade a day dailies, but that's just part of trading. And the YM stopping out at 7:33. So it is done for the day. Now I'm going to turn on add-ons on crude, because this potentially could be, I don't know if it got close enough. This could be an SMA trade coming. But we didn't quite get to our stop. And there it is. So yep, we're in an SMA short. If you want to use that. Not a big one. And that would have been a successful trade. Not a big one, but successful nonetheless. And probably enough to, if you didn't have a trailing position, you would be done with the prior trade, and that wouldn't be a bad choice. 11 tick target 2, 16 tick target 3. It would have gotten you positive on the day. Actually, we missed target 2 by 1 tick. And we did come back and stop out. But that should have been a protect at least. But that would be enough to get you to POQ on the session. If you're trading 1 or 2 fixed positions. So that pretty much brings us to a close. And for an hour and a half's work, not a pretty day. Fortunately, we got to a POQ on the Russell. Crude got POQ on the 9 a.m. session, and with that, using that add-on, if you were trading just fixed positions, you got enough to get positive on the 10 a.m. session. The pound Aussie just being difficult, giving us a full stop on our only trade of the morning, and then giving us a beautiful long trade coming right as we stand down. It set up a minute 15 before our trade window closed, and the trade window closed before it came up and actually triggered in. 4 targets, and the trailer sitting up very close to target 4 now on that trade. Well. So, crude actually did reasonably well for us this morning, getting to POQ on 2 sessions. Russell was POQ. Soybeans was nice trade. Unleaded and the YM both giving us difficulty going to 6 trades and not being able to get positive. So, unless there are questions, I am going to call it a day. Troy will be will be starting a live stream in about another hour. He's doing his special fast test demo session today at noon. So we'll see everybody back in an hour. And I'm going to need to get out of the way so he can get set up. So everybody have a good one. And I am going to call it a morning. See you at noon today. And of course, we'll have the regular Wednesday and crude oil inventory sessions tomorrow. Enjoy the day.